Adventurous kids explore with education and learning what a wild life is in the Everglades. I want to explore the Museum of Discovering Science. What plants do butterflies like? I want to know about Key West. Adventurous kids, learning and fun. Adventurous kids!
Today I'm going to tell you about folk music. Folk music is music that is played or sung by ordinary people, not professional musicians. It is traditional music that people learn by listening to other people playing it and then copying them. We say that tradition is orally transmitted or handed down orally, meaning that the music is not written down but taught by speaking. Oral means belonging to the mouth. Even country has its own traditional music. Folk song is part of folk music. A folk singer is a person who sings folk songs. The term folk rock refers to the blending of elements of folk music and rock music, which arose in the US and the UK, which is the United Kingdom, in the mid-1960s. That's a long time ago. Folk music in the United States from 1800 to 1850 was influenced by migrants from Europe. Immigrants from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Germany brought some of their folk music with them. Folk music was generally not written in sentence form. Folk music was handed down from one person to another person. The genre grew popular during the 1930s when a man named Woody Guthrie started broadcasting on the radio and recording songs like "This Land Is Your Land." Guthrie was interested in social activism, and he used his songs to carry political messages like the rights of migrant workers and the perils of life during the Depression. These songs later became known as protest songs and were popular in the 60s folk scene. In the 1960s, a new type of music was started by a book Bob Dylan, who mixed traditional folk songs with rock and roll. This music is sometimes called folk rock. Bob Dylan was and is a musician and songwriter. He became popular during the heyday of folk music during the early 1960s. Bob Dylan created a sensation at the 1965 Newport Festival when he used an electric guitar in his performance. This led to many groups wanting to play folk music in the rock style. In older times, folk music was a part of communal recreation. This means that small communities such as villages or families would relax by playing and singing music together. People would often make up a new song or new piece of music or make changes to music that they already knew. In this way, music was always changing. People would get musical ideas from other groups nearby. This is why folk music from neighboring countries often sounded similar. Most folk music includes singing and instrument. There are many forms of folk songs. A ballad tells a story, a lullaby, a children's bedtime song, a spiritual, religious song. Folk musicians use many kinds of instruments. Some are simple, such as rattles and whistles. Others, such as fiddles and guitars, are also used to play classical music. Once a person makes up a folk song, people in the community learn it. No one writes down the song at first, so people often change it as they perform it. The song may spread to nearby towns, even other countries, where it changes even further. Regions in Europe, for example, all had their own styles of folk music, but many of the tunes are similar. Folk music was sung by people as they worked. In the early days of European immigration in America, pioneers sang as they traveled. Cowboys sang as they worked. Slaves sang they worked in the cotton fields. Folk music was used by many composers in the Romantic period. Gustav Mahler used folk songs in a lot of his music. In the early 20th century, some composers traveled around collecting folk music which was being played or sung by people in the country. They often use some of these ideas in their music. Folk music is for everybody to play and listen to. In this way, it is different from classical music, which is mainly developed by professional musicians. For a smaller group of people, folk music is part of a popular culture, although the term popular music or pop music today refers to a kind of music which people can hear through the television, radio, and other means of recording. In many parts of the world, nearly all music is folk music. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Adventurous Kids.
What did you learn today?
Adventurous Kids.
Adventurous Kids.
What was the most interesting fact?
Adventurous Kids.
Adventurous Kids.
Adventurous